Can you really get a pre-approval letter from a lender and still get turned down in underwriting? The answer is yes. I'm Kevin Blair with Element Home Loans. You tuned into Mortgage Sense with Kevin. I've got Josh Blair with me. Hello, Josh.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
Very good, sir. How are you?
Doing all right.
All right, so let's get into this. And we get this a lot.
Sure.
And I'm going to start off with some hard, cold facts. All right. 38% of all loans that are turned into underwriting are turned down. 38%. That means that almost 4 out of 10 families that are buying a home, or the 4 out of 10 that are selling their home, are not going to close. Now, they're going to close eventually. The sellers will close eventually, all right? But that also means that those 4 people out of 10 got a pre-approval letter and their loan got turned down.
Right. So can we talk just a little bit about the steps to get to that point of underwriting? What all has to happen before we even get to that underwriting stage, and all of the process and all the work that actually goes into a loan before we get there? Right. So I call in and I say, I would like a loan. What's the next step?
I start jumping up and down. And start
Celebrate.
I start celebrating and say, yes, you're approved. No, it's a great question, because what happens, Josh, and we're trained in this business. Speed.
Right.
I'm pushing you on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We've got this family. They've sent all their docs. I want an answer.
Right.
Answer. Okay. And that's what our job is. Okay. Is to get the right answer as quick as we can.
Right.
Okay. So to dig into that, and what does that really mean? I said we're trained in this industry. My coach, and I've talked about this a lot, my coach says that he would eat my lunch if he was in Chattanooga, because he'll pull your credit and give you a pre-approval letter within 5 minutes.
And that just seems, it doesn't make sense to me. I'll just be honest. It doesn't make sense to me. And maybe it's because I've learned here in this office from you, but it doesn't make sense just to look at a credit report and say you're approved. Because how often am I going into a file and somebody says they make $5,000 a month? Well, really, it's $4,458 a month, and that can make a big difference.
It makes a huge difference, okay? Because when we go through this process of getting somebody pre-approved to buy a home, it is such an important decision. It is it's stressful anyway.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So to do exactly what we need to do, I almost get fired up talking about this, because we're messing with people's lives.
Right.
Okay. And other people are messing with some other lives. I've got one this morning that, guess what? And I hadn't even told you yet. We lost a deal this morning.
Really?
And it was a family that they've been getting told bad advice, and it's not going to close. And I know it's not going to close. It was over a contingency on an offer letter. So we have to go through every step to be able to approve a loan. Now, this family was going to get approved, and they will get approved. But there's a contingency, and it's a big contingency, mm-hmm. that we just couldn't sign off on that loan. But I don't want to get down a wild goose chase. I can see the look in your face. But let's talk about this pre-approval process.
Right. So just to give you an idea of where this started and how this question came up in my head, we have an individual that's looking for a loan right now. Mm-hmm. Okay. She's actually looking for a second opinion, is truly what she's doing. And she has, I asked, I would like to see 2 years of W-2s, your last 30 days of pay stubs, and a bank statement showing the funds that you plan to use. That's our standard. Or at least standard for us.
That's standard for
before
us.
we give out a pre-approval, that's like the minimum that we're going to need. And she said, well, these other people that I'm talking to, they pulled my credit. They looked at my application, and I have a pre-approval letter from them for this amount. Why do you need extra? Why do you need more?
Okay. And the other side of that is, when she came to us, she needed more. The pre-approval that she had gotten wasn't enough.
Right.
And so she was looking for more. And I have this conversation with these folks from the very beginning. And I will say it again, and I know I'm oversimplifying it, but there's a right way to do this business. And to me, the right way is doing it the way that you and I do it, the way that we have done it in this office for 14, 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason that I've had 2 loans, that as a team, we've had 2 loans turned down in underwriting in 13 years, only 2. 90% of those loans that are turned down in underwriting, and I wish we could read that email because she kept saying after contract, after contract. Well, we should never go under contract unless your lender has gone through every bit of this information.
Right.
Okay. But 90% of those that are turned down in underwriting, well, you know what the answer is. You know what the answer is? 90% of them are turned down because of the debt to income ratio, because the income wasn't figured up from the very beginning.
Right. They trusted the application.
They trusted the application.
And you know what? There are some people that give low numbers on the application. They actually make more. I dealt with one this morning. They actually make more than they put on the application. But the actual, you'd be surprised at how difficult it is to figure income as it's needed under the regulations, as it's needed under the different programs. It's not as simple as taking what I made last year and dividing by 12.
No.
Or dividing by 52 for the weeks. It's not quite that simple. And so the majority of people filling out an application don't know what their month, they round quite a bit, actually. Yeah. And so we have to do that due diligence, because the last thing that I want is to have somebody excited, somebody under contract, buying a new house, somebody else on the other side excited because they're selling their house and they've gone through all of this work, they've gone through all of this stress, and we get a couple of weeks out and the underwriter says, I'm sorry, they don't make enough to qualify. And that makes me sick to think about.
And that will never happen on the Kevin Blair team. It will never happen, because what we do going forward from the very first day, and here's what Josh went over the list. We need 30 days worth of income. We need 2 years W-2s. Now, we're talking about a W-2 buyer right now, okay? We could go down all kinds of rabbit holes with 1099s and self-employed, but we're talking about a W-2 wage earner today. We need 30 days worth of pay stubs. We need 2 years worth of W-2s. We need to see where the money is coming from. But there's more, okay? If it is a salary, you take somebody that's on a salary, it's very, very easy. Mm-hmm. The pay stub will actually say this is a salary. This is based on a salary. That's very easy. If they're making overtime and we need the overtime, you got to have it for 2 years. It's got to be increasing or staying the same.
Right.
Okay. But if they're hourly is where most people get in trouble.
Right.
Because there are times that we have to go back and get your last pay stub for, like right now, we're in 2023. We may have to get your last pay stub for year end 2022 and year end 2021.
Just to show a consistent income. And we have to look at the income as it's most likely going to be, and it's going to be in place for 3 years. That's the kind of mindset that we have to look at. So we have to look back for a couple of years to make sure that it's going to continue for a couple of years.
It's not as easy as just saying, I make $6,000 a month.
Right.
Okay. And that's what we're trying to get. There is, and I said it like 5 times, and maybe that's what we call this episode today, is there's a right way to do it, because there is a right way to do it. And can I say it? I'm hell bent on doing things the right way.
Right.
Okay. I've said it over and over and over. I'd rather tell you 100% the truth, give you 100% accurate information, and not close your loan than to surprise you. Josh, we'll get 10 or 12 referrals a year from people that didn't use us because they got surprised later.
Right.
And that surprise of not getting the house that you're excited about, That's not a surprise that you want.
Not a good one.
It's not, because there's money that have been spent. There are, you've got appraisals, you've got inspections, you've got earnest money, and these sellers don't like giving earnest money back.
No.
Okay, and if we're 2 or 3 weeks into it, there's a chance that they lose their earnest money. I'm not going to have that conversation. I will not do it. It's one of those things where, have I said there's a right way to do this business?
What's her choice?
Have I said that today? Guys, if you like this information, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell. Let us know that you connect to this information. We talk about our community, all right, and we want to be an asset to our community. Well, over the last 8 or 9 months, our community has grown.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're not only now just in Chattanooga, in North Georgia, and parts of southern Alabama. We are now in 9 states based on our social media presence, and we are in 9 states. Our company is actually licensed in 48 states.
Right.
So we can guide these people through this process. So I want to be an asset to this business. I want to be an asset to this community. I want to be an asset to people that are buying and selling. I want to be an asset to our realtor partners. They have to have a place to go to get real information.
Right.
And that's the only way we're going to do this.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to give you some interesting facts that I just heard. And this is a little bit off. Have we finished this topic?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give you some interesting facts that I just read and heard not less than 30 minutes ago.
Okay.
You know what the average car payment is in America right now?
$750.
It is $800 a month. $800 a month is the average car payment. 17% of Americans, it's over $1,000 a month.
Wow.
Over $1,000. I'll say that again. $800 is average. 17% of Americans are paying over $1,000 a month for car payments. If you think about that, and we're hearing, yeah, interest rates have changed. The last 2 years have been absurd, okay? Last 3 years have been absurd. We're now back in the average of about the last 30 years, okay?
Right.
If you think about the car payments that are going up, and people are complaining about the interest rates right now.
Right. I mean, if you're making significant money, an $800 car payment may not be a big deal. But if you're making $30, $40 a year and you have an $800 car payment, you're spending the majority of your income on a car payment.
And that's why we go all in on the approvals.
Right.
Okay. That's why we go all in.
We don't want to trust it to a guess. We don't want to trust it to you. This is a huge decision. We don't want to trust it to close enough. We want to be right.
We want to be 100% right. Guys, if you're thinking about buying, if you're thinking about selling, give us a call, 423-488-7571. Check our website out. It's kevinblairteam.com. There are hours and hours and hours at the bottom of that website. Every podcast we do, every reel we do, everything that goes on our YouTube channel under Kevin Blair Team, you can find on our website. There's so much information that we're putting out there for you. Let's do it the right way. If you've got questions, send me a DM. Send me a DM or on IG. Send me a message. Send me an email. Ask us questions. Even if you're under contract, we will help you through that process. If you've got questions that your lender's not asking or not answering, ask me. If I answer it the same way they are, Josh, when we talk about being an asset to this community, that's being an asset to this community.
Right.
Helping people that are under this process, even if it's not with us. Okay? Guys, if you're thinking about buying, if you're thinking about selling, give us a call, 423-488-7571. Let us help you. Let us give you the right information. Have a great day. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Mortgage Sense with Kevin. This podcast was brought to you by Element Home Loans and the Kevin Blair Team. If we can help you with any of your mortgage needs, then visit us at kevinblairteam.com, or you can contact me at 423-488-8465. You can also follow us on social media, and if you enjoyed this podcast, then please subscribe to our weekly shows and share this episode with others. Thank you for joining us.